Hi, everybody. Happy Monday to you. It's meteorologist Matt Wintz here for Region Weather. It's interesting. Right before a broadcast, I don't know why, but I have to have a pen in my hand, and I couldn't find one. And so, right before I came on, I'm like looking for a pen. I don't know why. I don't even write with it. I just like to fiddle with it when I'm talking to you guys. But anyway, kind of a bonus broadcast tonight. I just want to get this out there because there is severe weather out towards our west. As expected, remember we talked about it last night. I just want to update us in terms of how this is going to evolve and if that severe weather threat is for Northwest Indiana or not. Okay, I've got my thoughts on it. So I want you guys to be at ease this evening because I don't foresee a big severe weather event for us here in Northwest Indiana. And we talked about that last night. Nothing's really changed in my forecast. Okay, so let's get right to it. You see our sponsors up above. Obviously, they are just awesome family-owned businesses, tigerplumbing.net. Publicserviceadjusting.com, ewingmech.com, and Grieger's, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. It's Grieger's.com as well. So support them if you get a chance. Okay. All right. Here's what we're dealing with. Let me first say hi to our early birds. Mark, hello. Thanks for joining us. You're first on board tonight. Mary, hello to you. Jeff, Linda's with us. Angel's with us tonight. Stacy, thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I do appreciate that. Maxwell's here. Gail's here. Debbie's here as well. All right, we've got the whole gang here. We can get started. Hi, Charity. Thanks for joining us here tonight on this Monday evening. This is going to be quick, guys. I'm running up against a bedtime, and I don't want to drag this on any more than we need to. Okay, so here's what we have right now. There are big storms along west of this. Okay, so the air behind this is very winter-like. The air that we had today, obviously, we were in the low 70s today. One last kind of warm day that we had around here, right? That battle zone is taking place in north central Illinois right now, in southern Wisconsin. And so we've seen these storms develop as expected. Again, all this we talked about in last night's broadcast. Everything's behaving as expected so far. So we have had a couple severe thunderstorm warnings with these in areas of northern Illinois. Southern Wisconsin as well. There's been some hail with these. There have been some areas of gusty winds within this as well. Nothing tornadic. There is a tornado threat with these, but not for us. It's for areas just west of us. It does include Chicago, but especially north central Illinois and Wisconsin. So these storms are, they're packing a punch. They're actually pretty big, but they're not here. And guys, these are going to take a long time to get here. Okay. They're still west. You notice the movement isn't west to east, the movement's southwest to northeast. Okay, so these have a ways to go. What's going to happen, at least in my mind, with these storms as we go throughout the evening, and we're already starting to see it. You can see this little line that developed here. See that little line and see how it triggered new storms? These are going to be outflow driven. So what has happened here? We have this main line that's here. It's put down an outflow boundary that's now kicking off new thunderstorms here. Eventually, this will take over, and we'll see an outflow off of that. So these things will kind of, you'll notice on radar this evening, they'll kind of bubble their way in our direction, okay? It's not going to be a smooth line that comes through. There's going to be kind of bubbly as it moves in, all right? But we're still a couple hours out from these, all right? So a couple things I want to look at here. Let's look at how they evolve. This is the latest HRRR, and notice how, I mean, they're not quite here yet at midnight. They're getting here 11 o'clock midnight. Okay, so a couple hours out. And notice how they kind of evolve. They bubble their way in here on outflow boundaries. Decent storms. Yes, they look like that. They'll be heavy rain producers. This should kind of fill in and become more of a line as it moves in. So I do think we get a good line of storms. There will be some lightning with it. We may have some small hail with it as well and some stronger winds. All right. The tornado threat, I believe, goes down as it gets into northwest Indiana. It's not off the charts to begin with. It's not a big tornado threat with these. This is not last week's system by any means, but there is a little bit of shear in the atmosphere in north central Illinois. I don't see that here in the region. And then you can see as it moves through, we're dealing with just lingering rain tomorrow morning. Before everything cools down with that wind coming off the lake tomorrow. Much, much cooler tomorrow, okay? But as they evolve, I mean, we're going to be looking at some decent reflectivity on radar. You'll see some red with these storms as they move in later tonight, okay? Storm Prediction Center has us under a marginal risk, but barely. Notice how the biggest threat is west. There's your tornado risk per the Storm Prediction Center, so it doesn't even include northwest Indiana. Your wind risk, notice how it fades as it gets into northwest Indiana, hail as well. And the reason why is because by the time these storms get here, it's closer to midnight. It's 11 o'clock and midnight. So we've lost daytime heating. There's not a lot of energy left in the atmosphere. So they'll be fading as they move in. And really, the last thing I want to show you is this. This shows kind of the instability that we're dealing with these storms. Notice how it's pretty high right now. Blues and greens equal pretty decent amount of instability. And then notice as we go through time, by the time they get here, there's not much left. Everything's kind of shrinking and fading. All right. So we're losing a lot of that atmospheric energy. And then tomorrow, it heads east and there's just not much energy at all. Okay. So I do not foresee a big severe weather night tonight. Could we pop a stronger storm with some small hail and some stronger winds with it? Sure, we certainly could. That would favor Lake County, and then it would be a lesser chance as you get into Porter, Newton, Jasper counties, and then an even lesser chance as you get into the LaPorte and Stark counties, okay? So the further east you are, the better chance you're not going to have even a strong thunderstorm from this. Further west you are, Lake County, because you're on that axis. I'm not including Newton County because you're not quite on that axis yet. You'd be secondary. But either way, you would have the best chance of seeing a stronger storm out of this, okay? But I'm not anticipating any huge deal from this. These are going to be kind of your run-of-the-mill thunderstorms as they move from west to east tonight, okay? All right, so that's kind of what we're dealing with. JP asked a good question. JP, I just saw your question, and a great one at that. Do outflow storms suggest possible training? And what JP means by that, training thunderstorms are exactly what it sounds like. When you have a train, it's obviously a bunch of cars going over the same track, right? So what JP is suggesting, if we have outflow-driven storms, does that suggest we get storms that go over the same areas over and over? And no, JP, actually, the outflow boundaries actually do the opposite. So the outflow would trigger new storms out ahead of it, kind of like what we've seen here. With this initial storm, we had a storm here, and then it triggered storms out ahead of it. But the way this system's oriented, that would suggest some training, right? Because everything's moving southwest to northeast. There's not a fast west to east movement where you can get multiple thunderstorms, but the entire line where the energy is going to slowly outflow its way out towards the east. So it's more the orientation of it that would support some training. And we could get some training. I think we're going to have several hours of some decent rain around here. But by and large, we could use it. We could use a good drink. Our ground could. So there's that. Okay. So that's it. That's all I've got for you guys. You're absolutely welcome, Denise. I see your comment. Deb, you're welcome as well. And Wendy, thank you for your comment as well. Tom asking about any updated storm or snow chances. Tom, yeah, that weekend system's still showing some snow with it. Or not the weekend. Well, the weekend system's showing a little bit, but the one next week is still showing some snow with it. We won't talk about that tonight because it's still fantasy land, but we'll see kind of where it goes with that. Rich asks a good question, or says, I hope no lightning around 4 a.m. I don't shower when we have a thunderstorm. Lightning struck our home when I was a kid. Rich, you and I are the same person. I am deathly afraid of lightning, and you guys probably know this about me. And my wife makes fun of me, but literally I walk around like this outside. I won't even go outside if it's lightning. I'll have to wait in the car, or I'll have to run after a lightning strike. But Rich, I'm the same person. I won't shower at all. I won't use the toilet if it's lightning outside. That's so crazy. So Rich, you are not weird for that. Trust me, I'm the same person. And I that story when you're a kid, that gives me goosebumps. Seriously. Yeah, that's absolutely me, Rich. That's so funny. It's funny because down in Georgia, when I was at a station down there at NBC, the sports guy and he's become awesome at sports. He's like one of the top podcasts. His name is Josh Pate. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He runs The Late Kick with Josh Pate. It's a college football podcast. It's just taken off. He works for CBS Sports now. He's doing great things. But he's the same way. He and I are exactly the same in terms of that too, where we're just so scared of lightning. I'll tell you some stories, but they're inappropriate in terms of things he does, so I won't go there. But anyway, all right, so that's it tonight, okay? So I don't see any other questions. Lance asks, should I put away the plows? Ooh, Lance, not yet, Lance. We're not quite done yet. We're not out of the woods yet. I don't want to say we're not done because I don't know if we're done or not. We'll see what happens the next month and a half. But there are some signs that March 16th, 17th, 18th, sometime around there, that we may get some snow around here. We'll see. Okay. Kimberly, I understand that. Kimberly says she's kind of freaky when it comes to storms too, like paranoia. I feel you. So that's why I wanted to get on here and kind of put your mind at ease. Yes, we're going to get some thunderstorms tonight. I'm not overly concerned with a severe risk. We could get some strong storms, especially Lake County. After that, they should weaken as they move in, but that's that. Okay. All right. So there you go. There you have it. Thanks for joining me, guys. Enjoy your night. And we'll talk to you tomorrow morning. We haven't got much colder air on the backside of this, but it's not going to last long. We've got a nice rebound with some rain coming on the way. So it only gets much colder from here. We're at the upper echelon of where we should be this time of year. So there's that. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay. If you missed any portion of this, just go back. You can rewatch and rewind and stuff like that. We covered most of it at the beginning. Okay. All right. Have a great night. Thanks, guys.